Now, we want to continue to bring you stories of extraordinary people who served in uniform. My next guest is one of those remarkable people. Tom Hennessy is a Second World War veteran who served in the RAF and flew hundreds of hours in Spitfires. And his dedication to his fellow service members hasn't stopped since. Just this year, listen to this. He walked 100 miles at the young age of 100 to raise money for homeless veterans. And he's joined by his lovely spouse, Joyce Hetherington, who is there by his side during the walk. Welcome to the program to both of you.
Thank you very much, Hannah.
Thank you, Hannah.
You know what? I've been looking forward to this interview as well. This is my favorite day to tell stories like yours. Tell us first about your service, a little bit about your service, Tom.
Well, my service was stretched from Ponca City, Oklahoma, where I learned to fly. 6 years later, or 5.5 years later, I was in India when we were training to go into Japan or Singapore if the war had happened there. So I was on different stations in the Mediterranean during the war, and Egypt and places like that. But I was on Spitfire all my time.
A Spitfire. I can't even imagine. How old were you when you joined?
I was 18 when I joined up.
What was it like as an 18-year-old? Were you ever scared? Because really, I can't imagine what it was like. And I think our youth can't imagine what it was like to join the military at 18.
Well, I think it's the atmosphere that's present. When I was 18, it wasn't a case of courage and bravery and so forth. It's my friends were doing this kind of thing. I was in Southern Ireland, but my schooling had been in Northern England, and my friends were in the Air Force, and my father was in the First World War, and my brother had been in the Air Force, and he was killed. So it was the kind of thing to do. And I'd also not managed to get into a job in Ireland. I failed 2 bank exams. So I was lost, kind of lost.
He's still not a good banker.
He's still not a good banker. We'll leave that to you, Joyce.
I'm so glad he did. Yeah.
Let me ask you, a lot of the times, and I felt this with my grandfather, that a lot of people don't want to talk about their memories from the war because it was very hurtful for them. They don't want to bring them up. Is there something that stands out to you that maybe Tom told you that stood out for you in your heart?
Oh, his devotion at a time that young people were getting career counseling and finding their way into the workforce. He was doing his job, and a dangerous job. When we look at the pictures, the number of young men that did not come back, some of our best and brightest did not return, and Tommy did.
We're so thankful.
I get really choked up when I think about how lucky we've been in Idaho for a long, long time. And I am just always full of wanting to know more about what it was really like, as are our grandchildren.
What chokes you up the most?
Sorry, what?
What I was asking, I can ask you both, but Joyce said she gets choked up. What chokes you up the most?
Well, I think what happens with me, and it could happen here right now, is when I get into who was lost and what they lost. I didn't lose. I had a life after 25, but several of my friends lost their lives. So that's what brings it up.
Do you want to share any of their memories with us?
Of my friends' memories?
What about Jake's?
Well, Jake's was a friend, my close friend all the way through. We trained in the States, and we were back in England training, and we were on ops there. And then we went overseas to the Mediterranean, and we went to Malta. And in Malta was the first time we were kind of separated, because there were 3 squadrons on the defense of Malta, and Jack went to one and I went to the other. Well, after we'd been there about a month, I heard from one of the fellows in the other squadrons that Jake's had been shot down in flames. And
Tom,
that was
the
the end.
euphemisms that you used when somebody in fact died in service, what did you say?
Well, we didn't say that they died. We always say that either they bought it or they went for Burton, or there were other terms we had, but we never talked about dying because it was never going to be me. You know, I won't get hit, so I can keep going. It's fine.
And it was a way of dumbing down emotion. And that was one of the things, Hannah, in relationships with anybody who's a first responder, you cannot afford to feel. You have a job to do. You have to stay focused. You have to think about your comrades. And when I met Tom many, many years ago, he was kind of lopsided. He was a song and dance man. He coped. He coped with his humor and his joy and his gratitude, and that's all good. But to be vulnerable, to say, I don't understand, I don't know this, or help me with this, or to say, I'm afraid, that was not part of who he was, because when those formative years, you had to squash them down.
Yeah. Well, I think it's something one has to overcome too when you're in a marriage after a session of being in the war, because Joyce has opened up the world of femininity to me, to understand the other side, the feminine side of things. So it's helped me a great deal with being with her.
And you've helped me with your discipline.
Yeah. So it's.
I love this love story that we're hearing, and it's just happening naturally between the two of you. You know, this is what life is about. I just love it. Now, something else I want to ask you about. At the age of young, you're 100, you walked 100 miles to raise money for homeless veterans.
Yes.
Tell me a bit.
Why did I?
Yeah, why did you do that?
Well, why did I do it? It was because I was reading an article the other day when I was 99 and a half or whatever it was. And it said, the article finished with the last lines were, homeless veterans, we've got to do something about it. And I said to Joy, you know, I could do something. I could walk. Anybody can walk. And so I'm fit enough to walk. So I said, I'm going to do that. And I got in touch with the Legion and asked them, what about it? And there were two people there, Bruce and Randy, who helped me with getting it organized. And I just walked. It's not hard to walk, so you just walk. And it was fun to be able to be healthy enough to do it. I can still do that kind of good work. And so it was wonderful to be able to do it.
Before I let you go,
gratitude. It was your expression of gratitude, because when Tom was turning 100, he said, I have to do something special.
I wanted to say thank you. You know, I'm saying thank you. It's called the Walk of Gratitude. And the reason it's the Walk of Gratitude is because basically I got through that war and I didn't suffer. I didn't get injured. I was just plain lucky to do it. And then I came to Canada, and I was accepted here in Canada, and I've had jobs and the work I did in physical education. It was such a rewarding work to work with children. So really what I'm saying is thank you to Canada, because it's such a wonderful country. I appreciate it every time I wake up in the morning. I'm thankful for this land. And so it's all wrapped up in that.
And thankful for democracy.
Yeah.
Goodness, you have a tear in my eye. I'm so fortunate to get to meet you. And just before I let you go, I want to know, this is one thing, because when I'm at the National War Memorial, every single time, I always have lots of thoughts that are going through my head during that moment of silence. And I always wonder, what are the veterans thinking? What do you reflect on?
If I'm reflecting today,
yes.
now I'm reflecting on what we have to put our focus on And what we have to do is get rid of war. It's never solved anything in all the history of man. And we must depend on our young people to be thinking of those things, and I think they are. So my thoughts is we must get rid of war.
I think that's a very good piece of advice. What do you think of the young generation? What would be your advice to the young generation? I mean, you're young. Don't get me wrong.
I don't
Choice,
give
of course.
advice. Yeah. We don't give advice. We just suggest to people that they think about what they're reading, what they're believing, believe in the truth. Make sure you get to the truth of what's happening. So that, and I think our young people are. They're traveling in the world more, and they're protesting more. So I have great faith in the young people.
I want to thank you kindly for the time you have spent with us today, for your service and your words of advice. They mean the world to me, and I bet you they mean the world to Canadians out there.
Well, thank you indeed.
Thanks, Hannah.
Very much indeed appreciate it with you. Thank you.
So that is Tom Hennessy, a Second World War veteran, and his spouse, Joyce Hetherington. Thoroughly enjoyed our conversation. Still ahead, celebrate